Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel and welcome to this video. So this is part 5 of our PHP REST API tutorial. And in this video, we're going to continue working on with our PHP REST API project and also testing our project so far. So I took the liberty of just populating the post table here. So you can go ahead and try to download the MySQL file in the description box below, to save you some time of adding all this unnecessary, adding all this records to our database. So let's go back to our code editor and let's try to check our project for the last time before we test it in our Postman software. So we have here the read.php file and we have the headers, and we initialize our API by using the initialize.php file. And of course, this initialize.php file include all the core files of our project. And here we have instantiated the post, okay, and passing in the database connection. And of course, in here we have iterated the records coming from our database and displaying it or converting it to JSON format. So now let's try to test this on our Postman software. So let's go ahead and search for Postman. And by the way guys, this is the software that we're going to use to test our PHP API. And if you have work in the future that involves API, you can use Postman to configure your request. So this is the Postman Postman software that we're going to use. This is good for testing an API. So let's just try to navigate to our project. So localhost PHP REST, and then I think we're using PHP REST and of course API, and then our read.php. So PHP REST API and then read.php, and then make sure that it is the method that we're using is get, and then try to send it to our PHP API. So we have here the I think we have some error here. So let's try to read it in our So we have an error in our SQL syntax. Check the manual, and I think we don't have space here. So let's try to do that. Navigate to our post.php on line 39. So post.php in line 39. So where is it? Ordered by. Oh, so I think we have misspelled our ordered by. Instead of using ordered, it should be order by. Okay, so save this and let's go back to Postman and send our request. So we have a new error column not found, P created in order clause. So that's easy because created at should be created at. So there you go. Send, and we have now the result of our PHP REST API reading, and under data we can see all the records coming from our database. So as you can see, the result of our request is on JSON format. Okay, so now that we have read.php to get all the information or to get all the records from our database, so what we want next is to create another read for a single record from our database. So for example, we want to specify a certain ID of a post, and then we should be able to get all the information associated by that particular ID. So let's go back to our code editor and in our post.php file. So right below the public function read, and make sure you're still under or inside the post class. So in here, I'm just going to add another function. So public and then function read underscore single. So this will be just getting a single post from our database. So as for the query, so we're just going to we're going to use almost the same query, and then we're just going to change something here. Instead of using order by, so we should remove this because we're only getting a single post, so there's no point of ordering it by the ID or created at attribute. And of course, we want to get a single post, so we need to specify that it should be a particular ID. And of course, we need to limit the return of this query into 1 because yes, we only want to have a single post to be returned. And in here, we need to prepare also the statement for this particular function. So that's prepare statement, and in our statement here below, we need to get the actual data coming from our database. So statement and then fetch and then PDO fetch associative array. So, and then below here, we need to set the properties of our post. So this title will be our row, and then of course the return title from our query. And then we're going to copy this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it should be for our body. This one is our author. Okay, and then we also have the category ID, category underscore ID. So copy and paste it here, and then category name, category name. Okay, so there you go. And we need to bind a parameter for this particular statement here. So where post ID equals, so instead of executing it directly, we need to bind a param. So that's bind parameter, and then we're just going to specify the first one, and ID should be the post ID. Okay, and of course this is binding the param, right? And the next one is execute the query. So that's stmt and then execute. Okay, so stmt execute, and then row stmt fetch PDO fetch assoc or associate or associative array. So I think that's it for our public function read underscore single. And under our API, let's just create a new file here. So that's new file, and then read single.php. What happened there? So read single.php, and then we're just going to copy here the read.php file, and we're just going to delete the content of this below, only the header. So we're just going to use the same headers, access control, and of course the content type. Then we initialize our file, and then instantiate a post object, and we need to assign the post ID. So that's post, and then ID equals, we're just checking if the get ID is set. So return the get ID, otherwise exit or die. And then post read single. So that's the function that we have defined in our read.php file. And of course we want to create an array of our values. So that will be post, just like what we have in our read.php. So array, and then of course we need to specify also the ID. Okay, so post ID, we're just going to copy this, 6, title of our post, the body of our post, and of course the author of the post, category ID, okay, and then category name. So we're just going to copy this title for this, and so this one, and also this one, and also this one, and so with this one. And we need to make a JSON, okay, and print R, and of course JSON encode the post array. So post array. So I think that's it, and we can use this in our Postman software. So let's go ahead and let's try that. So I'm just going to copy this and create a new request. So this should be API, and then read underscore single.php, and then specify the ID. So for example, ID 3. Okay. So we have an error. So let's try to. So we have an error here because we misspelled the fetch. So post fetch. Okay. So let's go back to Postman and send. Category name ID. Define property post. Single. Category name ID. Okay. Save, and again. So that's it. We now have the post 3 with all the information coming from our database. So if we try to go with another one, ID 2, so we can get all the information associated with ID number 2. So I think it is a good point to end our video, and in the next video we're going to discuss how to create a new record by using our API. So see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.